Absolutely huge data breach yesterday. Usernames, passwords, a wide variety of other things obtained. I think it's safe to say that the next big kind of global conflict is going to take place in cyberspace. We look at just the level of disruption that is able to happen with certain ransomware attacks. Here in the United States, we had the pipeline, right? You have like a single point of failure, and no human on Earth knows how to run these things manually anymore. I wonder how many of our power grid, related items are also hooked up to the internet. Electricity, sewer, and water. All these things are run by computers and probably still use serial cables to connect to each other. And it's a major concern for me. And yesterday there was another big data breach. I suppose this video would probably be a good one to mention. I use private internet access as a VPN, and I use it mostly because I want to browse anonymously to protect my data from being collected by big tech. But if that doesn't, if that isn't a good enough reason for you, obviously you can use it to change which region you're browsing from, access region locked content, and other things like that. But for me, it's about browsing anonymously. Use it on my phone, on my laptop, on my desktop computers, everywhere to try and leave the tiniest possible footprint. If you don't already have a VPN, definitely check out private internet access. It's a huge discount offered to my subscribers, so make sure you get one today. This late last night was reported. Cybersecurity company now has said that China has most likely staged a large-scale cyber attack on Israeli government departments and tech companies based in the country between 2019 and 2020, according to a new report. Why we're hearing about it now, I don't know. FireEye, a multi-billion-dollar cybersecurity firm based in California, confirmed to the Israeli paper that hackers had targeted Israel as part of a broader hacking campaign that had also targeted Iran, Saudi Arabia, Ukraine, and others. The company concluded that the tools used to infiltrate the government bodies included the defense ministry, indicated that China was behind the attack. It's interesting that, we keep allowing China to do this stuff. Like, it wasn't China, it was the CCP, the Chinese government, who, to me, this feels like an act of war. But nobody seems to care because cheap stuff. Gotta have cheap stuff. Among the data taken were emails, usernames, and passwords, according to FireEye. The attackers also looked through documents and email servers. There are a lot of Israeli companies that have been involved in the very fields of core the Chinese interest is reflected in their 5-year plans. Their goal isn't necessarily to steal IP. It's possible that they're just looking for business information. In the Chinese view, it's legitimate to attack a company while negotiating with it, so they will know how to price the deal properly. She added, when the Chinese do business, they don't enter the contract with their eyes shut. They examine the other offers, board of directors, emails, correspondence among people that intrigue and who are key people. Imagine accepting this. Washington has previously expressed reservations and concerns that the Chinese investments and infrastructure development in Israel could undermine Israel's security relationship with the United States. Well, of course, if you're looking to, go after the United States, you don't go directly, you pick one of its weakest counterparts. U.S. authorities have expressed concerns that the Chinese company would be operating close to where the U.S. Navy ships dock and could potentially collect intelligence, but the contract moved forward anyway. Last year, Israel denied a U.S. maritime team access to inspect the port of Haifa, but in May, Israel bowed to U.S. pressure and turned down a Hong Kong firm's $1.5 billion investment bid to develop a water desalination plant, removing salt from salt water. Israel has also, by the way, engaged in these type of things, and I'm sure U.S. has. Here last night, China goes after Israel, Iran for info on tech business advances. China's hacked dozens of Israeli public and private sector groups, as well as groups in Iran, Saudi Arabia, and a variety of other countries, the international cybersecurity company FireEye announced Tuesday. The massive attack seems to be part of a long-term spying strategy in the area of technology and business competition and advancement, rather than a desire to harm any of the target countries or businesses. According to FireEye, Beijing does not discriminate along any of the fault lines in the region, using its cyber tools to spy on a wide array of Middle Eastern countries, which are often at odds with each other, while all doing business with China. The goal seems to have been to gain intelligence into achieving better negotiations outcomes in terms of pricing by viewing internal email discussions and assessments and appropriate certain key technological developments where possible. Appropriate, meaning steal, by the way. In addition, it's tied to cyber exploitation holes in Microsoft's SharePoint, announced by the Israel National Cyber Directorate in 2019. Mediant, a part of FireEye, says that it brings together the world's leading intelligence threat and frontline expertise with continuous security validation to arm organizations with tools needed to increase security effectiveness. Nobody spends any money on cybersecurity. You know, everybody was all upset with the price of hard drives and running to host everything in the cloud. But I mean, why not make it just easier? Just connect all of your important files directly to the internet now. I feel like there's probably a push somewhere for people to start disconnecting from the internet, having like not a dumb term, but like a off internet box. I've talked to my viewers about really wanting to have like a Windows 98 gaming rig. Maybe like I'll do that. You know, I don't know what kind of, get a Voodoo 2. I think get 2 Voodoo 2s in SLI mode, maybe. But that was probably the best you could do back then. I don't know. AGP was a thing then, right? Maybe Voodoo 2s. Anyway, I would love to go back and play like some of the Sierra games and on the original hardware that, you know, that it ran on. But I am concerned about it. You know, the idea that all this data is out there and available for the taking is really concerning. And it's also concerning just how easily it's, you know, how easily it's obtained. You see, however, tolerance for Chinese cyber attacks has declined globally as the country's popularity has plummeted following its handling of the Kuf, Hong Kong issues in the South China Sea, and claims bringing up about the Uyghur Muslims. Israel has maintained high-level business connections with Beijing. Chinese companies have invested billions of dollars in Israeli technology startups, partnering or acquiring companies in strategic industries like semiconductors and AI. Again, everybody has a problem with China, but not with their money. As long as they keep that cash flowing, nobody seems to have any problem with them. And like, the thing that is frustrating is that it's pretty clear that like China doesn't necessarily care about overinvesting or money or whatever. They know that everyone can be bought, and it's just true. You have, you know, Jerusalem has started to rebalance some of its dealings with China, opting out of cooperation in the application of 5G and other arenas while avoiding public confrontations. I think this is something that Trump started, that Joe Biden did not continue, but I do really want to see my government decoupling as much as reasonably possible. The Chinese embassy responded to the report saying that FireEye's report is baseless claims against China on cybersecurity issues are defamation for political purposes. China is a staunch upholder of cybersecurity and has always firmly opposed and combated cyber attacks launched within its own borders. In fact, China is a major victim. Oh, that's classic. I didn't do this. In fact, it happened to me. According to statistics from China's National Computer Network, about 52,000 malicious program command and control servers located outside China took control of 5.31 million computer hosts in China in 2020, which seriously undermined China, said the embassy. It concluded, "We hope our Israeli friends and media outlets can make a clear distinction between right and wrong and refrain from providing platforms for rumors." I mean, of course they did it. And it's just nobody gives a crap about any of it as long as they can keep that sweet Chinese money flowing. Again, make regular decisions in your day-to-day life. I understand that you can't just, you can't just go like, oh look, Carhartt, here's a good brand, I would think, but it's probably made in like wherever. I know their T-shirts are made in like Vietnam or Senegal or something like that. Doesn't even say on their wallet. Just try to make decisions around, where you can, where it makes financial sense. I actually can't find it. There's no tag in here. I guarantee it's not made in America, based on what I saw their T-shirts are made. You try to make decisions here and there to decouple yourself. And I think that if everyone starts making a few decisions like that, you can actually legitimately have an impact. This cybersecurity is going to continue to be an issue, and it's going to get worse, especially if our government doesn't take more control of it. So what can we do? Well, when you can, make a decision between buying made in China and not, when a few extra bucks or cents doesn't matter, and protect yourself. Be careful about changing your passwords often. Be careful about installing programs you're unfamiliar with. Use antiviruses and use a VPN. If you don't have one already, make sure you get one now and start encrypting your data. Browse safely and securely and get it installed. Don't forget your phones. We browse as much on our phones now as anything else. So make sure you install it on your phone and your tablets and everywhere, and you'll just feel better. It takes like 10 minutes. So make sure you do that. I'll be keeping an eye on the hacking world in 2021, as I think it's going to be kind of a hot topic. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.